Great. All right. Hey, guys. How is it going? I hope you're having a great trading session with Timing Research and learning about the favorite indicators of everyone. And of course, now it's my turn, hey, to present to you what my favorite indicator is. And I purposefully have chosen the title of this presentation to be Next Level Trading with an AI Charting Assistant. And I chose the title because it has some double meaning on purpose. Because what I'm going to show you will not only annotate your price chart with all the technical information that you need to make informed trading decisions, but it will also show you important levels of price, which is significant. Thus, next level trading. Anyways, I thought it was a bit of a pun on words to get you guys loosened up a little bit. Okay, so with this, let me introduce myself. So my name is Daniel Sinnig, and I'm a managing partner of TradingIndicators.com, which is an online store where we present all our flagship trading indicators, as the name suggests. But what's perhaps interesting is that my personal career, did not start off in trading. I'm actually a software engineer by training. And for the longest time of my career objective was to become a professor in software engineering. So I went through all the levels. I did my master's, my PhD, my postdoc. I was teaching at various universities in Canada, in Germany, where I'm from. Montreal, Canada is our headquarters. But you know what? At the side, all the time, I was fascinated by the markets and the world of finance. So I started trading on the side. And as you start out, as a beginner, you make all kinds of mistakes, like we probably all do. I overtraded. I traded when market conditions were not right. I took too much risk. And after donating quite a bit of money to the markets, I came to the hard realization, oh man, trading is not as straightforward as I've thought, and I need help. And for me, needing help meant I need tools, better tools, which will help me make better trading decisions. So I rolled up my sleeves and I started coding. And the very first tools that we have written at Trading Indicators, they were only written for ourselves. And once we realized, hey, these tools are actually making a difference, they're helping us, perhaps they will help others as well. And this is really how the story behind TradingIndicators.com started. So by now, we do have clients all over the world. We have a lot of clients in the US, in Canada, in Europe, but also in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, South America. It's been really quite a journey since we started out about 10 years ago. And it's not just me anymore. We do have a full team now. So this is my business partner, Homa. She's been on my side for more than 20 years. I met her back in grad school. We were in the same research lab in software engineering, and we've done many projects together. And about 10 years ago, we founded TradingIndicators.com. And we also have Nicholas, our quant, who is the mastermind behind many of our latest tools that we have in our store. And in fact, he's also the mastermind behind what I'm going to show you today, the AI-based trading assistant. And a couple of things before we really get started. Most of what we do is rooted in what's called technical analysis. We believe that anything fundamental is almost immediately priced in. And by analyzing your price chart, you will indirectly also take into account fundamentals. We believe that trading should be simple, and trading, in fact, is simple, but you need to know what to look for. What I'm going to show you today is an indicator which will tell you directly on the chart, without you doing anything, what is significant and what perhaps is considered noise. And all this to say is that we really believe that the right tech, the right indicators, the right tools can make your life easier, and as a trader can make your trading life easier. So hopefully by the end of this presentation, you will realize this as well. All right, so before we really get started, a quick reminder that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is capital that you can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trades and trade ideas discussed during this presentation should be construed as trade advice only. So I should not be construed. It's been a long day. Should not be construed as trade advice. This is for informational purposes only. All right. Now, with this out of the way, let's get started. About I don't know, 2 years ago, we made next observation and we realized, any chart, regardless of what chart it is, a daily chart, a 5-minute chart, a tick chart, a stock chart, an FX chart, a crypto chart, all the charts, they have landmarks. And if we can spot these levels of price, these landmarks, we can estimate how price will react to them and profit in the process and find interesting trade setups. This may sound a bit abstract, so let's make it very concrete. First of all, by the naked eye, oftentimes charts and price action seems to be completely unpredictable. An uptrend might quickly reverse to a downtrend, which then reverses back to an uptrend, and so forth and so forth, with no discernible pattern. And this gets even worse on these smaller time frames, where oftentimes we have a lot of noise, like here on the 5-minute chart, up, down, up, down. It's really chaotic. Things tend to become a bit clearer when we zoom out, when we go from the 5-minute chart perhaps to the 4-hour chart or even higher. This is something that probably many of you have realized, and this is something that we have integrated in what I'm going to show you. So please keep this in mind. Things tend to become a bit clearer when we zoom out. Now, I talked about landmarks. So these landmarks can be established by all kinds of things. For example, by an historical high, like an all-time high. This could establish a landmark, or perhaps swing lows like here, which are visited and revisited multiple times. And what's so interesting about these landmarks is that in the future, later on, potentially much later, these tend to be revisited by price. Like this all-time high is being revisited in this example much later. These swing lows are being revisited much later. So there's something about these levels which attract price. And we observed this, and we found this so fascinating that we decided to research this even further and to build an entire indicator around this observation. But we're not there yet. Give me perhaps 2 more minutes. Now, these landmarks, they can have different names. And there's so many different names out there. For example, support and resistance zones or levels, S&R levels, and so forth. So lots of different names are out there. But what these really are basically levels of price where, for example, in terms of support, demand exceeds supply. And when this happens, we have these swing lows. See this one here? Price goes down, cannot go any further down. Instead, it's pushed up again. Or here, one more time, price goes down, can't go any further, goes up. And the same thing over and over again. And these are typically caused by many buy orders when it comes to swing lows, where the big culprits, the organizations, the institutions are stepping in and preventing price from moving lower. The same for resistance. These are typically caused by pivot highs, as you can see here. Price cannot exceed these levels. And here it's the opposite. Big sell orders are stepping in, preventing price from moving higher. Now, these levels, these are not caused by us, in quotes, small retail traders. These are caused and created by the big money traders, the institutions, the culprits. And while these culprits, the big guys, are calling the shots, creating these levels, we as retail traders, we can follow the patterns and profit in the process because we can estimate how price in the future will react to these levels. And if these levels are combined with abnormally high volume at these swing lows or swing highs, then these are often referred to as what's called liquidity zones, because at these levels, liquidity jumps up. This is great for the big money players because they can get their huge orders filled, and it will influence price even more. All right. Now, if we can spot these levels, these zones, I promise you, we will find promising trade setups in the process. Now, one example is, for example, this here on this chart. I don't know what chart it is. I think it's NQ a while back, where price was nearing this level down here. This is a support level. You can see it here. It's called support zone. Price wicked down, came down, and then jumped up. Price was not able to penetrate this level and instead bounced towards the middle, in between support and resistance. We call this the bounce trade. Or another example is zone break trade. Nothing lasts forever. No level will never be broken. Eventually, chances are that levels will be broken. And when this happens, a big follow through might be imminent. For example, here, the support level was broken, and then you can see price like moving much lower in the aftermath of this broken level, because then it's, well, in this case, clear skies ahead to the downside, price just moving or accelerating to the downwards direction when such a level break happens. We call this the zone break trade. Or another example, actually, this is my personal favorite because I see this over and over again. We do have a broken level. So price breaks above resistance here and initially moves up, then pulls back. And where does it pull back to? To the broken level before it continues in the original direction of the break. We call this the breakout retrace trade. And you probably have heard it before, that resistance can become support and support can become resistance. And this is exactly what's happening here. Once resistance is broken, but this breakout here, it will then afterwards act as support, preventing price, when it pulls back, to move further. Instead, price will continue in the original breakout move. A classic example, and you will see we're gonna, actually today, we saw exactly this with the big bearish move, but we're gonna get to this in a second. All right, now the question is, how can we spot these levels, these areas? Well, I have the answer for you. We have developed a tool called Liquidity IQ, which is designed to print exactly these levels of importance onto the price chart. These support and resistance levels where volume is typically abnormally high. Thus, we call them liquidity levels. It's really an instant charting assistant, which will annotate your price chart immediately when it's applied, with all important information, such as zones, liquidity captures, especially event, which I'm going to explain to you in a second, and zone break events. All right, now without further ado, let's get to the charts. Let's check out how this indicator works. And before I actually show you this indicator, just one thing, and then we're going to get to it. So I'm going to move over to the price chart if I can find it. There we go. And in fact, I just want to show you one last thing. This is not the indicator which I meant, but this is a different one, which I'm also going to use today. And we all know today was such a huge down day, one of the biggest down days in, I don't know, 2 years for the NASDAQ futures, but also for the S&P futures. And look what this indicator, it's called MA Rush. I'm going to bring it up in a second again, signaled yesterday when things started to turn downwards. It gives you this bear flag. And this is not repainted after the fact. It's painted in real time. And look at the follow through we're having. And this indicator is, and we're going to get back to the other one in a second, is designed to be very sparse with its signals. They don't happen very often. For example, here, the last bullish signal we had, this is a 4-hour chart, was back in May. So a long time ago, and we stayed bullish all the time. A huge run up. Now we have a bearish signal. The last bearish signal was back here in April. So it lasted about a month. Then it was, taken over by the bulls again. So if history repeats itself, but of course, we all know that historical data is not necessarily indicative of the future, but if history repeats itself, we may see a bit of a longer bearish move. This is not just a bit of a correction. This may actually continue a bit longer before the bulls take over, because this indicator is quite selective in its signals. They don't alternate too often, as you can see here. And if this is indeed the true, holds true for this NQ symbol, we may see a bit of a bearish move for a prolonged period of time. But anyways, this is a bit of a detour. So this was because today was so topical. Now, let me go back to the levels. So mindset again, the levels. Let's check out this chart of RB, gasoline futures. And I have applied our indicator liquidity IQ to the chart. And what do you see when you apply the indicator to the chart? You see these levels printed. And now let's just observe for a second how price is reacting to these levels. So here, for example, price went up, it went up and went up. To which point did it go up? To this green line here, which is the resistance zone. And then the price couldn't go any further and it went down. Then it went down all the way to this red line. It's not an exact science. It penetrated this level a little bit, but then moved up again. And where did it go to? again to this resistance level. It's like magic. You see this? If you scroll back, yeah, the same effect. Price moves up all the way to this resistance zone. In this case, almost to a T, right to this level. It retraced back. Here, a zone break event, as I mentioned before. Levels don't last forever. Eventually, they will be broken. But these are also opportunities because these zone breaks are often starting points of a stronger move. Look how strong this move was downwards before it went up again. Yeah. So this is the magic of these levels. All right. Now, I have applied this indicator to the chart, and this is what you see. But I have disabled some features because I would like to ease you in of what this indicator can do. It's very powerful. It's very complex. But at the base of it, these levels are drawn onto your chart. And then let me go into the settings real quick. And guys, by the way, if you have any questions, don't be shy. Please put them into the chat or the Q&A of your Zoom window, and I will get to these questions throughout this presentation. Also, if you have any symbol requests, we're going to do lots of charting today. Please put these symbols into the Q&A or the chat. All right. So let me go to the settings of this indicator. So I'm going to go here to my settings. And of course, this is TradingView, but we have this indicator available for all major platforms: TradingView, NinjaTrader, ModifWave, Thinkorswim, MT4, MT5, and so forth. All right, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to switch on mentor mode, which is one feature that we have. So I'm going to switch it on here, click OK. And once it's switched on, you can see that this indicator actually annotates your price chart. All right, so we zoom out a little bit. We can see here, for example, that the resistance zone right now nearest the price is between 2.4306 and 2.4318. The support zone between 2.3751 and 2.3739. It's indicated right here. The indicator also shows you important events that have happened or will happen. For example, a liquidity capture event. Something very unique to our indicator. Because what this is price is wicking up, is trying to penetrate this resistance area, but it cannot. But this candle, which wicks up, has abnormally high volume. And if this happens, the price is nearing resistance with abnormally high volume, we have a liquidity capture event. And our interpretation of this event is that big block sell orders are stepping in, preventing price from moving higher. Instead, it returns towards the middle, in between resistance and support. All right. And the same thing can happen at the support level. If price moves near the support level, you can see this little shaded area here, and we have abnormally high volume. This is a liquidity capture near a support level, which can be an indication, hey, big buy orders are stepping in, preventing price from moving further down. Here again, price wicks up, liquidity capture event, the shaded area, price moves down. It's like magic. All right, one more thing to show you. One quick is a zone break event. You see this little arrow here with the label zone break? This happens when an important zone, in this case a support zone here, is broken, is penetrated. We often see a strong follow through when this happens. You can see it here. So this can happen into the bearish side, but of course also to the bullish side. All right. Now, so this was an example, but let me change it up. Let's change symbols altogether. Let's go to Bitcoin. These are the Bitcoin futures. And I like this one because it was very recent. The market just reopened, the futures market. And this was perhaps 1 hour ago. And I noticed this when I prepared for this presentation. I noticed that Bitcoin was nearing, was around this time here, this level here, this support level. And guess what? Support being support prevented price from moving further down. And instead, it picked up again, bullish momentum, and moved towards the middle, in between support and resistance. Let's see it here. So it wicked down and then moved up again. Yeah. So this can happen on any type of chart. Of course, this is a 5-minute chart here. Now, let's see what happened today. Now, today was a bit of a crazy day, especially when it comes to the index futures and the indexes. Let's go to NQ. Let's do a bit of a retrospective. What has happened today? As I mentioned, one of the biggest bearish moves in a long time. All right. So, all right. Actually, in fact, what I want to do, guys, is to go back in time. So in TradingView, you have this awesome feature, which is called replay mode. Some other platforms have it too, but let's just pretend for a second that we can go back into time. So I'm gonna switch on replay mode. Let's go back to just a couple of wars before everything really took off to the bearish side. All right, now let's have a look. All right, I'm actually also gonna turn off real quick this indicator. Perfect. And we're gonna discuss this box here, which is another feature of our liquidity IQ indicator. So this is NQ on the 5-minute chart. All right, so let's move forward in time. So in trading, you can just simply move forward. And as you can see, price is nearing this level, this support level below. And just look here, what happens to this box here? The first line in this box is called setup. The indicator actually tells you what is the current setup at play. In this case, it's a long bounce setup because price is nearing support. This was support at the time. And support, if it acts support, price may bounce off these levels towards the middle. What you can do, of course, in this case, we know what happened. But what you could do is to place your entry like right near this support zone, put your stop right below. It's going to be a very tight stop and hope that price will bounce off towards the middle. So this is how you can play the bounce setup. It's a great reward to risk setup because your stop loss will be so near. All right, let's move forward. All right, so of course, in this case, the support level did not really act as support at all. It was penetrated. And once penetrated, you can see this box has changed and it now changed the setup. It now calls out a short break setup. Why? Because support has been broken. We can see, let me just make this a bit bigger, that we now have the zone break arrow indicate on the chart. This all happens in real time, indicating, hey, support was just broken. Maybe it's a good idea to place a short trade instead. And very similarly, our stop loss would just be a bit above this broken support zone. That's it. A very tight stop loss. If it works out, great. A very great reward to risk. If we get stopped out, no big deal. We're not going to lose a lot. So that's the beauty about the short break, but also about the bounce trade. All right, so let's move forward because there's one more thing I need to show you. So price initially moves down. Great. But oftentimes, and I see this over and over again, the initial break is kind of a bit of a fake out. Instead, price initially will break down a little bit. You can see this here, but then it will retrace. And where will it retrace to? Back to the broken zone, which will now act as support. And the indicator actually picks this up. Look here, it now is flagging a short break retrace setup. One of my favorite ones, because oftentimes this fake out is then followed by a strong directional move in the direction of the initial breakout. And this is exactly what we saw today. And how you would trade this short retrace setup is to simply enter when price is near this area, which will act as resistance, and place your stop just a bit above. Now, the real cool thing is the indicator actually will also help you with that. So let me go back to the settings one more time. All right, so back in here, let me enable these stop loss levels. So many of these features are disabled by default because sometimes they clutter the chart. And if you're like a power user of the indicator, you don't really need it. But when you start off, it's quite useful to see these levels. So let me switch on the stop and targets. So once enabled, we can actually see now on the chart that our stop loss, as I said, should just be above the broken support zone, which now acts as resistance. And the target should be somewhere down here. All right, so then of course, we know what happened afterwards with a nice follow through to the downside. And this is one of my favorite setups. You retrace and then you go in, and the indicator will help you with that. All right, so this was NQ, a bit of what happened today. But let's change pace a little bit, because this is not just an indicator for day trading futures, although this is mostly what we do internally, but we have a lot of users who use this indicator together with their swing trading on stocks. And actually, guys, I need to show you one more thing before we switch to the stock symbol. One thing why, and I want to go back in time actually one more time, if you indulge me. Let's go back one more time to this level here. The price is just about to go towards the support level. The reason why we actually internally did not take this trade, it's not because price was approaching support. This can be a really good trade, but for another reason. And I'm going to switch on an indicator, which you have already seen, which is called MA Rush. So let me switch it on. And what you can see here is that this indicator has been flagging a bearish move for quite some time on NASDAQ on the 5-minute chart, which kind of contradicts our assumption that price will bounce off from this level. At least it's not a perfect setup. Ideally, I would love to see a bullish reading on this indicator and a long bounce setup. This is when we have confluence. Two different indicators confirming the same price direction. But here we don't have this. We have bearish and we are thinking about a long bounce. They're contradicting each other, not perfect. But just keep this in mind. If I step forward, of course, we know what happens once we have our zone break. Here, now we have confluence. Why? Because this is a short play. Zone break to the downside, and we have bearish momentum. This is what I want to see. Things are coming together. We have confluence. Both indicators, MA Rush and Liquidity IQ, are confirming the same price move. That's a great setup. And the same for our retrace setup. It's also a bearish setup. Short break retrace. It's bearish. Well, anticipating the price will pull back, which is our initial fake out, and then really take off. And we have a bearish momentum. All right. So now let's change it up. Let's go to fun. Six Flags Entertainment. And I also am changing time frames here. This is the 4-hour time frame. And one thing I wanted to point out, and I actually forgot to mention this previously, one of the key features of Liquidity IQ is I call this the pretend mode. We can specify for the indicator, hey, even though we are on the 4-hour time frame, I want you, the indicator, to consider the daily time frame or another higher time frame as the reference time frame to calculate these levels. How can this be done? Quite easily. We go to the settings, and here we have a setting called a reference time frame, base reference time frame. And it can be the chart time frame, that's an option, but it can also be any of these other time frames. And typically what we do is we set this to a higher time frame. So if we are on the 4-hour chart, typically I set this to the daily chart as my reference, as my calculation time frame. For NQ, just going back one more time, we were on the 5-minute chart, but I set the reference time frame for Liquidity IQ to be the 30-minute time frame. So the indicator will do its calculation based on this higher time frame, even though you are on a smaller time frame. And I really like this combination because you can use these smaller time frame to time your entries, see all these small little moves, but you get the levels from a higher time frame. So a convenient feature. All right, so back to Six Flags. And one thing I really like is, again, we have confluence here. We can see that MA Rush, our momentum indicator, is bullish. You can see it here. It's been bullish since May 10th. And we also had, let me switch on Liquidity IQ, a zone break on July 12th. Okay, this resistance zone was broken. We had a nice follow through, but since then, price is retracing. And guess where it will be retracing to? It will be retracing to our broken resistance zone. And what is likely to happen at this point? Well, we may see a bounce of this broken resistance zone, which will act as support to the upside. And the way to play this is to enter when prices wait for a bit more retracement near the zone or nearer the zone. You enter long and place your stop loss just below this zone. A great trade with great reward to risk, especially when combined with bullish momentum. All right, so this is fun. Great setup. I really enjoy this setup. And one more time, this is, what do we have here? Cardinal Health. All right, so a very bullish stock. You can see here, let me just switch this off one more time. It's been bullish since, oh my God, since March 2022. So extremely bullish, a strong uptrend. But every once in a while, a bit of a pause in trend, which are in turn great opportunities to get back into it. All right, so let me now switch on Liquidity IQ. And here we do have what's called a bounce setup. Bounce means that price is nearing support. And especially if paired with bullish momentum. We saw this down here. Oh boy, so far back I can't even see it. There, bullish momentum. These are great opportunities. And as a trader, you could, in quotes, bet on the fact that price will bounce off this level and move towards the upside, towards the middle, in between support and resistance. All right. Okay, and perhaps one more example, Oxy. What do we have here? Warren Buffett's favorite stock. Okay, so what do we have? Another bounce setup. So here price recently just got bullish momentum. MA Rush switched to bullish. It was bearish before. So it switched to bullish. And we are nearing, or we are right in this support area. And once again, here the thesis could be that price will bounce off support towards the middle in between support and resistance. All right, so we're going to look at some symbols a bit later on again, but let me go back to my slides. And in fact, actually, let me see if there are any questions at this point. Okay, I see some symbol requests. I'll be happy to do these a bit later. Let me see if there are any technical questions in here. No, doesn't seem like this. Okay, definitely going to look at Dell and Microsoft. And Michael is wondering, does it exist for TC2000? No, unfortunately not. This indicator is not available yet for TC2000. Yeah. All right. So let me go back to my slides real quick. Now, just to recap for a second, what we have seen is, of course, our liquidity IQ indicator, but also our great MA Rush indicator. I just have to show it to you one more time, guys, because it was such a clean setup. Look at this one here. This indication yesterday afternoon, a bearish flag after being bullish for more than a month, it turned to bearish. And what a price move we had, simply by looking at the flags of this MA Rush indicator. And this is exactly what this indicator is designed to do. It's very clean. It is super simple to use, and it will show you directly on the chart in which direction momentum is pointing to. Is it rather bearish, or is it rather bullish? So very easy. It works right off the box. There are some configuration options, but you don't need to use them. I only personally use them with its default settings. Yeah, and it will show you so easily where the momentum is pointing to. And what you can do is you can either trade these signals outright. Oftentimes these are great trades, or what we do often in our trading house is to use these signals as filters. So we would only go long if at the same time MA Rush is also bullish, or only go short if MA Rush is also bearish. So we use this internally primarily as a filter indicator. All right. Now, but the real cool thing is that together, Liquidity IQ and MA Rush are really complementary. They work great together, and they do so much of the heavy lifting of trading for you. Liquidity IQ will annotate the price chart of all the levels that you need to see that are important, for all the events that are important. And MA Rush will show you the direction of momentum, which you can then use as a great filter. So they work so nicely together and will do most of the heavy lifting for you. And somebody asked about the platforms available. Well, we have these two indicators available, of course, for TradingView, but also for NinjaTrader, for ModifWave, MT4 and MT5, and Think or Swim. And before we get to the price chart, let me explain to you how you can get hold of these indicators if you want to use them in your trading. because we do have a great special prepared for you. And this is a lifetime special. This is the only time you need to pay anything. So normally, Liquidity IQ alone, just the indicator alone, retails at $1,297. But today, you will be able to get it for only $997. This is for life, of course. But we're going to complement this offer with 6 bonuses. And you may guess it, the first bonus is our great MA Rush indicator, which we're going to give you complimentary if you sign up for this package also for life. Second bonus is you will be invited to our next live trading workshop, which is scheduled for August 7 at 9 a.m. In this workshop, we will use real money, our real money account, to day trade with Liquidity IQ and MA Rush, the market open. We'll primarily focus on the futures, but we also may take some stock trades if they come up. And this is a great way to learn by example, to see how we use these 2 indicators. And we use them all the time in our trading. How we use these 2 indicators to trade our live account. And by the way, if you are a prop trader, we have so many prop traders in our community, you can use these 2 indicators to attempt the futures prop trading challenges or any prop trading challenge, really. Bonus number 3 is you will be invited to our weekly exclusive members session. These take place every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is a great opportunity to see our market analysis, to ask questions, to learn about tips and tricks, and to learn about the ins and outs of our indicators. It's always a great event. We have it every Tuesday. All of our members, or most of our members, are attending. And of course, these are also all recorded. So you will be invited to these sessions, which normally retail at $997 per year. But you will get them for life as long as they are offered if you sign up for the lifetime package today. Bonus number 4 is an ebook on how to trade with MA Rush. Bonus number 5, a video guide on how to use MA Rush and Liquidity IQ together. And bonus number 6 is on our trading setups using these 2 indicators. So we get all these if you sign up today. And all you need to do is to go to TradingIndicators.com, which is our homepage, /zone. And zone because, Liquidity IQ finds these liquidity zones for you. So TradingIndicators.com/zone. And David, if you can, perhaps also paste this link into the chat box. Maybe I can do this real quick here as well. Oh, there we go. Okay, thanks, David. Awesome. All right. Perfect. So real quick, and we're going to get to the charts in a second again. Now, you will get, and this is limited to a certain number of seats, but you will get the Liquidity IQ indicator, which shows you all the important levels on the chart. You will also get our MA Rush indicator, which is these great momentum readings. You will also get our exclusive invitation to our next, and actually all the next exclusive trading sessions. The next one is already scheduled for July 30th, next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And I forgot to mention, we also have a Discord channel where you will be invited to as well. Perhaps the easiest way for getting all your questions answered. We have so many contributions in there. Users are posting trading setups, their trading success, how they configure things with the indicators. It's really a busy channel, and you will be invited to the members only session of Discord as well if you sign up. So here an example of some trades posted in Discord. This was from a brand new user, Klaus, who is using our Liquidity IQ indicator on a NinjaTrader. And he had posted a successful trade he had with this indicator. And the next bonus is our live trading workshop. As I said, we are using a real money account, no demo account, to trade the market open on August 7 at 9 a.m. Eastern. And of course, if you cannot make it, no problem. All these sessions will be recorded. And the last, this is the offer one more time. All right, so guys, think about this. And while you think about it, I'm going to look at some questions. And William is asking for 2 symbols. All right, Dell and Microsoft. And William, I'm just assuming that you probably will swing trade those two symbols. Correct me if I'm right or wrong with this assumption. So, okay, so let's go to TradingView and let's look at Dell and Microsoft. All right, so let's go here. Actually, let me go to, yeah, let's go here. Dell. And I'm going to stay on the 4-hour time frame. Most of our swing traders, what they do is they use for their swing trading the 4-hour time frame for the chart, and they configure Liquidity IQ. We're going to get to this one in a second with the daily time frame. Oops, just go here, configure with the daily time frame as the calculation time frame. Okay, perfect. So what do we have? A bit similar to the Nasdaq. Huh? We had Dell was bullish since, oh boy, since April 2023. That's a great run from, oh boy, from 40 all the way to 180. But recently, when was this? This was not a long time ago. That was on, I guess, after earnings. No, I don't know what happened when this gap happened. On the 17th, about a week ago, we had this big gap down. And then today, of course, it went further down and momentum shifted from bullish to bearish. Okay. Yeah. And once again, if we have users who only trade these signals because they're designed to look at many levels of confirmation before momentum is changing. So if you go back here, I mean, here it happened a bit more often, but sometimes these momentum readings, they just hold on. They even hold on through these drawbacks and pullbacks here. They don't change that often. But now we did have the change of momentum. It went to bearish, and this could be a telltale sign that, hey, the bearish move may continue a bit longer. But let's look at the levels. So let me go to Liquidity IQ. And as mentioned, we have configured it to look at the daily time frame as our reference time frame. What I see here, just recently, actually the setup box here tells me the same thing. We just recently did have, when was this? This was Tuesday, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday we had a zone break. So this support zone, this level here, was broken yesterday. We then had, of course, today, the very bearish day, price continued to move down. And if you had traded the zone break event here, you could have already booked some profits. Now, as mentioned, oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes a zone break will eventually retrace back to the broken zone. It's an observation which we made over and over again. It may not happen. If not, that's fine. But if price comes back to this broken zone, this could be another short entry opportunity for you for Dell. So my overall outlook is, yes, it's bearish. Momentum shifted to bearish. We just had the support zone break. Even though price may retrace a little bit towards the broken zone, ultimately I do see more bearish momentum with Dell, just by looking at what the indicator is showing. All right. What else do we have? Microsoft. All right, so let me change it up. Microsoft. Okay, and let's just look at MA Rush alone and see what we see. Okay, again, we do have MA Rush applied, and we can see that it's still bullish. It didn't change its momentum yet. We are bullish since May 22nd. Of course, if price will continue further down, this eventually will change. Today, we had this big bearish day. And let's have a look at the levels. Yeah, actually interesting. So here, what we see is actually a zone break retrace setup. Look at this one here. We had this breakout, price went up, retraced back to the broken zone. And now we're right in the middle of it. We did have a liquidity capture event. You can see it here. I have annotations off, so let me maybe switch them on again. Momentum mode on. So it will be pointed out as soon as the indicator has recalculated. And yeah, I said in the beginning that, hey, these liquidity capture events, they can be signs that, big block orders are stepping in, preventing price from moving further down. We may see this here as well. We had the zone break, the retrace, and oftentimes after such a retrace, the bullish move will continue. I guess tomorrow we'll see what's going to happen. The market is closed now. Let's see where we open. If we don't gap further down tomorrow, if price remains in this zone, I think it is not unthinkable that price will stay in this level and bounce to the upside again for Microsoft. So this is definitely a possibility. But let's see what happens when the market opens tomorrow. If we have a gap further down, then of course this is off. But if not, well, something to think about. Yep. All right, William, another one. Swing. Is this a symbol? Let me see. No, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Swing. But yeah, so that are these two symbols which were requested. But let me go to one of my symbols. So we look at Oxy, but let's look at crude. And this is interesting because this is crude on the 1 hour time frame. And I have configured Liquidity IQ to use let me just quickly see, to use the daily time frame for its levels. All right, so really cool. And actually what happened here is that we look how nicely price respected these levels in the past. Price wicked up into this resistance zone. We had a liquidity capture event, went down. All the way down to this zone, went up again. Down to support, up again. Here finally, the break of support. And now we are in a short break event where price has broken this support level. And we'll see what happens. It is not unthinkable that we retrace back to this zone, perhaps for another lag down. But now we are trading below this long-term support with no close level nearby. The nearest level or the next support level is all the way down here at 72.50, as we can see here. Yeah, because of the swing low. And yeah, there's a lot of room to further downside from 77 to 72. It's not unthinkable. But we may also see another lag up here, a pullback to this broken level, which will then act as resistance, and price may bounce off from this level once again. And one more example, we have gold here, an interesting one. So here we did have a zone break. So price broke, and this is the hourly time frame. Price broke above resistance. Momentum shifted to bullish at this point. We then went up. Momentum then retracement back to the broken zone. We had a zone break retrace set up. Price bounced off again. Momentum shifted to bullish. And now we're retracing back to the zone again. And you know what? I kind of like this setup as well for potentially another long trade in gold. If you see a move further down towards perhaps 2,384 or alike, why not potentially look for a long bounce off this level? Your stop loss would just be slightly below this level here at 2,374 around. That's something that you might or I might consider moving forward of gold. Let's see where we will end up in a couple of hours. All right. So let me see if there are some other ones. Oh, swing trader. That's what William meant. Okay. Daryl, Coinbase. Okay. All right. Let's go to Coinbase. There we go. What do we see? Oh, beauty. Oh. Look, I just always so fascinated how well these levels work. Look, for price, this is range bound, obviously. Price moved up to this resistance zone and bounced off. We had liquidity capture events, up again and down. And one thing I wanted to point out, guys, this is a good example, is that these levels are not painted after the fact. These are painted in real time. So we knew about this resistance level here, all the way back here when this green line started at this point. You see this? This is when this green line started. This is when this line was printed. And look how nicely it held up twice. Down here support, very nicely. With a liquidity capture, price bounced up, back to the level again, bounced down again. So this is a classic range bound scenario. Let me zoom out a little bit of where Coinbase is coming from. Yeah, it is bullish. For a while, I guess, with the move of Bitcoin being bullish as well in the long term. we are now back in between support and resistance. We call this the magnet zone setup, where price is caught in the middle between support and resistance. And you know what, if I had to take a bet, it's not unthinkable that price will retrace one more time down here to this support zone and then go up again and potentially then break out to higher levels. Yeah, this is Coinbase. Nvidia. Everybody's darling, at least a month ago. We did see a bit of a retracement, especially with today's news, the spending on AI being higher than expected, the potential revenue is potentially lower. So also Nvidia, of course, the big AI chip manufacturer, has seen a bit of bearish action today. We can see it, price went down. We did break below this support zone. Yeah, the newest level only being at this level. So if we, momentum is bullish, which kind of contradicts a bit this bearish break. But who knows? This has been so parabolic, and I would not be surprised if we do see a bit of a steeper retracement before we continue to the bullish side again. It's not surprising. Something which has been so bullish will also correct deeper. And here we now initially broke or went all the way to the support zone. It was broken. Price initially stopped here, retraced a bit, and then, of course, with today's news, broke through it. Yeah, let's see what tomorrow brings. If we see price gapping lower, we may see a steeper move down. We may also see a bit of a retracement back to this broken support zone, and then we have a nice zone break retrace setup. For Nvidia, of course, not ideal because we don't have confluence in this case. We still have bullish momentum as of MA Rush, and looking for a bearish trade would kind of contradict this bullish momentum. So it's not ideal. I'm not sure if I would actually short Nvidia. Perhaps if you believe in it, a great opportunity to potentially go long of it. The price has corrected so much, could be a nice opportunity to enter long Nvidia at a much better price now after this correction. All right, Daryl says thank you. Perfect. All right. Yeah, guys, if you have another symbol request, put it into the Q&A. And meanwhile, I will go back to my slides to remind you how you can get hold of these two indicators. We call this the Liquidity IQ Super Package, consisting of the Liquidity IQ indicator, of course, but also our MA Rush indicator, combined with access to our live trading workshop on August 7th for a limited number of seats, and our exclusive members-only trading sessions, which take place every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And once again, if you cannot make it, no problem. These are all recorded, and the recording will be made available to you afterwards. And you will also get access to our exclusive Discord channel. Where you can get all your questions answered right away. Our moderator, Rick Stipe, does not sleep, or at least it so appears. So he answers questions at all times and hours. And you get a couple of ebooks and video guides as well. So if you want to take advantage of this, TradingIndicators.com/zone. We have many users who have taken advantage of this package, and we at Trading Indicators, we use these two indicators every single trading day for our own purposes. We use them to trade our live account. We use them to find swing trading setups, and we also use them to pass prop trading challenges. So all the time, these are on our chart 24/7 or whenever the market is open to find interesting setups to trade. And I recommend that you consider coming on board as well. You not only get these two indicators, but you will also become part of our trading community. So we have webinars every single week. You will get all the support that you need. You will get all these extra documentation and so forth. So it would be nice to see you guys on board. All right. Okay, let me just look through some questions. We have two symbol requests, Tesla and RR. I'm going to open these up in a second. And William is wondering, how many other indicators do you use? A few more. So these are the two that we always use, no matter what. They're always in our chart. But sometimes we complement our chart indicators with some extra ones. And part of these exclusive member sessions is to share with you our entire setup, which other indicators we use from time to time to fine-tune our entries and our exits as well. So this is something you will learn when you come on board. All right, so TradingIndicators.com/zone. Okay, so we have these two symbol requests. Tesla, let me go back. All right, Tesla also gapped down today quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so let me just put on only MA Rush to get an idea about the momentum. It's bullish. You can see it here. That was bearish here. Look at these beautiful follow-throughs. So as I mentioned before, some users, they only trade these signals. Yeah, anyways. So let me add Liquidity IQ to it. What do we see? Interesting setup, actually. We did have the zone break here back in the beginning of the month on July 1st. Zone breakout, and now a retracement. And we're actually near this broken zone. This could be a long zone break retrace entry if price comes further down to the maybe 200 levels, a nice psychological number. You may consider entering long Tesla with your stop loss just below this broken resistance zone around maybe 190 in the expectation that this stock will continue its bullish move. All right, and one last, David, and then I'm going to give it back to you. RR, Rich Tech Robotics. Oh boy. This is a stock I actually personally would not touch. It's it's a bit wild for me, and also the stock price is a bit too low for my personal taste. So I'm not a penny stock kind of guy. But if you only put on MA Rush, what do we see? Yeah, we did have a nice change of momentum. Oh boy. Yeah, I think here we do have too little data. So this is the stock I would not dare to analyze. All right. Perfect. And Sven wants to look at RR.L. O.L, that's a different. Is this even in here? Let me see. Is this a Swedish stock? I don't have it, unfortunately. Oh well, that's how it is. Anyways, my time is up, guys. If you have any questions, this is one thing I wanted to mention. Or if there was a question which I overlooked, no problem. You can always send me a note through our homepage, TradingIndicators.com. In the top right corner in the main menu, there's a contact item. Click on it. It will bring you to a contact form. Put your question there. It will go directly to my inbox, and I will make sure to answer every single email I'm getting. So this is something we pride ourselves on. All right, so with this, I thank you all for attending this session. I hope you found it useful, and it would be so great to welcome you guys on board.